Hi guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. This week I thought we would do a random number of pages chooses how long I read for the day. So I've done this quite a few ways before in the past. I have asked my family, I've done a random number generator, but today I thought it'd be really fun to ask a few of my friends. So I have asked Grace, Chloe, Cassie and her two kids, Maddie and Josh, and they've all given me a random number and I've done it between 0 and 150 because I thought I really struggle to read over 100 pages a day. At the moment, I'm having a bit of a reading slump as such, and so I thought, let's make it a bit of a challenge, but also realistic. Now, I have had responses from 3 out of the 5 people, but I will insert a picture here of what everyone's decided. At the moment, I'm waiting on the kids' responses because I texted Cassie last night when they were in bed, so we're waiting for after school today and then she's going to ask them. But at the moment, I've got such low numbers, so I was kind of a bit like, wow, this week's going to be easy. So I'm hoping in a way the kids pick a higher amount. We're going to start in the order that I've written it down in. So I believe Chloe starts and then Grace and then it'll be Cassie, Maddie and Josh. In this video we will be reading We Used to Live Here. At the moment we're not going to get too far into it. If we just go off the numbers that we've got, we're literally going to get that far into it. So I thought, to make this a bit more of a challenge, I'm only allowed to read that amount of pages in this book for the video. So as you have seen, it's very small amounts. I read more than that a day anyway, naturally. So I have other books that I need to be reading for other videos. So I'm kind of going to use this time to only read the amount of pages it says in this book. If obviously I want to read more throughout the day, I'll have to pick up another book, which you'll see in other videos or for myself. But with it being a thriller and with it kind of being quite gripping, and I really struggle to stop mid-chapter and stuff like that, I kind of want to really test myself to see if I can put it down at the time. So obviously day 1 today is Grace or Chloe's pick, I believe. I'm just gonna check. I've got it on my laptop as well for us. So day 1, it's Monday, and I mean, I know so far we've got really short numbers. I think Wednesday is going to be the one that actually breaks me because obviously Cassie's only picked 8. Yeah, so oh no, it's not Chloe, it's Grace this morning. So it's Grace's day today and that is 24 pages. So we are starting our book, We Used to Live Here, and we are going to read from it starts on page 1. We're going to read from page 1 to page 24. Obviously we'll finish on the end of page 24, which is good because it finishes on the end of a sentence. So we are literally reading minuscule amounts. I will read the blurb of this one. Obviously, if we get 2 other low numbers, what I will try and do is I will obviously read for this challenge and then I will make sure I include a clip at the end of my thoughts on this book, obviously if we don't finish it in this video. But at the moment the challenge is more going to be I have to stop when the pages are done. But let's read the blurb. So it says, young couple Charlie and Eve can't believe the killer deal they got on an old house deep in the mountains. One day a man knocks on the door. He says he lived there years before and asks if he can show his family around. As soon as they enter, strange things start to happen and Eve is desperate for them to leave and never come back. But they can't or won't take the hint that they are no longer welcome. Then Charlie vanishes and Eve begins to lose her grip on reality. She's convinced there's something terribly wrong with the house and its past inhabitant, or is it all in her head? So it sounds so gripping, so good, and I do think obviously only reading like 24 pages is going to like break me a little bit. So we'll see. That's obviously the challenge, but I will join back in when I finish my pages for the day, and yeah, let's get into We Used to Live Here. Okay guys, so as you would have seen, we've just read the first 24 pages of We Used to Live Here. I don't want to put this down. Like right off the bat, it literally starts with the family coming to the house. So right away I'm on 24 pages in, they're in the house, and at the moment everything seems normal. They are just looking around the house. The father is going through like anecdotes about what happened at the house, what it was like, what happened when he was there. There's a few things that have come up, like a few symbols and stuff that look a little little bit odd or feel a bit strange, but nothing major has happened that kind of, I think because you're going into it knowing it's a thriller, it feels eerie. But I feel like if this was happening in real life, you wouldn't feel concerned right now. He is literally just taking his kids around each of the different rooms and going like, oh, this used to be where grandma used to paint, and this used to be like grandpa's study, and this, that and the other. So at the moment it's got that eerie vibe because I know that it's eerie, but it's not like, it's sinister. You kind of, you know something's going to happen, so you're trying to look out for the little bits and pieces that you can see. But I am gutted that I have to stop there. Obviously we've only got 24 pages today, and then it's 27 tomorrow, so that means tomorrow we will get up page 51, so we'll read a little bit more tomorrow, but still not anything like major. So that's really sad. I'm so excited, although again, looking at tomorrow, we'll finish at the end of like a section, so actually we'll start Wednesday on a new chapter, but then on Wednesday we're only reading 8 pages, which will not be enough. So I'm intrigued to get into this and like properly, but obviously 24 pages is done for the day. I'm going to put the book away now, put it down, and just not pick it back up. Obviously that's the challenge. So like I've said, I will be reading other books this week for other videos because I don't feel like I'm going to get enough of my reading it out of the way. But I do think that this is a fun challenge in itself, to have a thriller and know that you're going to get into it, and knowing as well, like Thursday or Friday we've got over 100 pages. I still haven't, at the time of filming this, obviously I know you guys know the pages, but at the time of filming this I still don't know what Maddie's page number count is going to be. So I know Josh's now, and he's obviously said 149, so that will be a good chunk as well, but I don't know what Maddie's going to say. So obviously if she says another short number, then we won't know, like I won't know what goes on. But no matter what happens, if I don't finish this book in this video with you guys, I will insert a clip of me at the end like explaining what I think and feel and stuff. So yeah, done for the day, pages read, and I am really enjoying it. I did just want to say, I think at the start I said that it was Eve and her partner, and I might have even called it her husband or her boyfriend or whatever. This is actually a sapphic couple, so Eve and Charlie are both women. Charlie for me is my brother, so I automatically assume that that is a male name. I don't really kind of ever think about it being the female version as well. So this is actually a woman and woman partnership in the house already, so very intrigued to see kind of the dynamic with that, because the family that have gone in have like crosses on and are seeming very religious, so that could obviously play a part in it. I don't know, I'm very intrigued. So yeah, I don't want to put it down, but I am going to put it away, and then I will check back in with you guys tomorrow when we start our 27 pages. Good morning, happy Tuesday. So today's pages is 27 pages. It was so hard yesterday to not read anymore, but proof, oh, lost my bookmark. Proof, we're still on page 24, so 27 pages will get us up page 51, so that'll be a good chunk. Unfortunately in the book, I don't want to show you guys too much, so that's obviously page 49, and then we'll have like that blank page is 50, so this page is 51, but it's not numbered, so we'll finish after this one, and then technically we'll start on 53, but that's because it's a blank page, but that's fine. I'm really happy with, like, obviously that's not on us, so I've got a decent chunk to read today. I am obviously gutted that it's not all, let me get another bookmark to bookmark the end. I'm gutted that it's not all of it, or like more, but then obviously tomorrow we'll only have 8 pages to read, so that's gonna suck. But I'm heading out for a walk now, so I will get back and read these pages later on, so I will get some b-roll hopefully of them. I'm reading them, and I will check back in with you guys once it is done. Day 2. Okay, so day 2 of our reading is done. We have read our 27 pages today. Was it 27 or 24? 27 pages today. So we've read our next 27. We are on page 53 technically. So I've put my bookmark in there, and then I've counted out the 8 pages for tomorrow, so that next bookmark's in there. So we are on page 53. We've just got to the point of the story where they, obviously Eve's in the house, and I think I found out what's gonna keep them there for a minute. Something's just happened in the story. Obviously I'm not gonna give any spoilers away, but kind of the whole premise of this is that she lets these people in and then they just don't leave, and they're not leaving the house. And I was kind of in my head when I've heard this story and this premise, I was like, I personally would feel so uncomfortable into someone's house and like being in someone else's house and just not leaving. So what happens? And I think we found, or this is definitely the first thing to happen that means that they won't leave, and we're getting the first warning signs about Charlie as well. So obviously on the back of the book it says that Charlie vanishes and Eve begins to lose her grip on reality. So we're getting like the first warning signs that something's not quite right with Charlie, and there might be something wrong. And then we're also getting we've just got to this part in the story where we find out the first reason why they won't leave. And I understand as like a reader why you wouldn't leave in that situation. So I am really intrigued by this story, and to carry on, I am gutted that I can only read like so much each day, but tomorrow is going to be the kicker because it is only 8 pages. So I will try and get some b-roll and some like clips of my feelings, but I think what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably end up reading it first thing in the morning. So if you don't get any clips of me reading, then I will come back in and check in and let you know that I've read the pages for the day. Obviously I won't probably give you much of a synopsis. I might say how it feels about me obviously leaving where I'm at, but not much is going to happen. I'm literally reading 8 pages, which is within the next chapter, so you don't even get like a chapter break or anything within that. So I'm enjoying it. I just want to sit here down and read more, but obviously that can't be the case. So yeah, highly recommend this book so far, and I will check back in tomorrow when I've read my pages. Good morning guys, so as you would have seen, I've just done my 8 pages for today, and it started to ramp up a little bit more in the book. So where I said you're getting the vibes for Charlie going missing, that hasn't happened because she has just come home. So I don't know, I still don't know what kind of part of the storyline that's going to be, but I'm very intrigued to see the dynamic between Eve and Charlie, because it seems that they've got a very odd dynamic, and I mean that in the sense of Eve is very like shy and introverted and Charlie's very extroverted and outgoing. So I'm very intrigued to see kind of how both of them react to the family being there with that type of dynamic and how that looks moving forward. But obviously there's not much I can update you on from my reading experience. We read our 8 pages, so we're now up to page 60. Obviously we're not barely into the book. I'd say we're about 20%. We're like hardly into it at all. So let me just check it on Goodreads, because obviously then we'll know from page 60. So yeah, this is saying 16%. So we're hardly anywhere the way through at all. So tomorrow I've already mapped it out. So we've got 50 pages to read tomorrow, which will get us to page 110. So we'll read to the end of page 110, and then that's our 50 pages tomorrow. So I might end up doing that in like 2 sittings. So I might do a bit in the morning like I've done this morning. Obviously I only had 8 pages, so I was like, I'll get that knocked out, and then I might do a bit in the evening as well when I get home from work. Oh, I'm actually at my friend's house tomorrow, so I might take it with me to work, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, we'll sort that tomorrow. I will read as much as I can in the morning, and then I might even be able to fit the 50 pages in the morning as a full stint if I don't watch like YouTube like I did this morning. So we'll see. But yeah, loving it so far, and obviously there's not much to update you from today, so I will see you tomorrow for our next lot of pages. Good morning guys, happy Wednesday. So we obviously have 50 pages today, and happy Wednesday, happy Thursday. I think I just started my other video, happy Wednesday. And obviously we've got 50 pages today. So I have actually sat down, I don't know if you can see it, my book is just there. I've actually sat down this morning and I've read just over 10 pages. I finished my workout, and then whilst my brother was showering and I was waiting for that, I sat down and read some pages. So I have read just over 10 pages of the 50. I am not taking that book to work with me because I am kind of enjoying reading it here. So we have book club this evening after work, which means that I will then have to try and finish the rest of it off this evening. So this will be one of the harder days. I really have shot myself in the foot a little bit because today and tomorrow are the only days this week which I've had plans, which are in the evening, and I've had things to do. And obviously today's pages are 50 and then tomorrow's pages are 149. So I've kind of shot myself a little bit in the foot with it, but I think tomorrow I will end up obviously trying to read it in the morning as well, and then taking it to work with me to try and read as much on like my lunch and stuff as I can, because then I'm out in the evening, so I don't know how much time I'm actually going to have tomorrow to get bits and pieces done. So this could be interesting. Obviously then over the weekend I will aim to finish it and give you guys kind of like final thoughts, but at the moment we are still, I mean, I'm only 70 odd pages in, so we're still within that first like third, that first like 100 pages of setup and stuff. Things have started to get creepy, and you're definitely seeing signs of this family maybe not being all they seem to be, but when they arrive they do seem like a normal family. And especially knowing the premise of the story, I was very much like, this is not the vibe of the family that I thought would turn up. This is not how I expected it to go. So they seem like a normal family, and that's honestly really interesting because a couple of them now have started to feel a little bit creepy, like there's maybe something a bit more sinister going on, but then the rest of the family are still like that normal family vibes. So I'm intrigued to see if all of the characters play into it, if it's just a couple, what happens. And yeah, I am enjoying it. I'm looking forward to carrying on, and I will check back in later once I have finished my pages, unless I finish them like when I'm actually in bed reading, then I will give you an update tomorrow. But we are on track to actually finish our pages today. We've got less than 40 to go. I can finish that tonight easily, so yeah, fingers crossed we get it all done in time, because then tomorrow we're on 150 pages, which is just going to be a little bit mental, but we can do it. We can do it. Good evening, guys. So the last clip literally was me this morning saying I've not done all my pages. I still haven't, so I just wanted to check in to let you know that it is currently 9:20 and I still haven't done my pages, so we will be completing pages in bed. Obviously I put my phone away to go to bed, as most people should, so I won't get any clips of me doing that, but I will check back in the morning to let you know if I've managed to read the pages and if we manage to get any reading done tomorrow morning as well, because obviously we've got a slightly heavier reading day tomorrow and I have even less time to read, so that's really fun. But yeah, I'm gonna get into bed tonight. I'll check back in the morning to let you know if I managed to hit my pages. We are currently on page 74 and we've got to go to page 110, so that means we have 36 pages left. But this book is quite easy and quick to read, and there's also a few like blank pages in there, so hopefully we should be able to get through that relatively quickly. But I'm gonna go carry on getting ready for bed and then go and get into bed and read this book before going to sleep tonight. I'm just hoping I can stay awake for the amount of pages that I need, because it is late for me to be going to bed and I am already tired. Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. So good news, we finished our pages last night and we've actually started reading this morning, and I'm on page 126. So out of 149 pages today, we're 16 pages in. So, you know, we're basically done. But no, I'm gonna have to try and find like all my free time today to just read that book, which will be fun. I mean, it's definitely ramping up. I think we're now just over a third of the way through, so like the aspects are definitely ramping up. I'm loving the element of Morse code. I will say what I didn't like about reading it last night is that obviously the Morse code's in there and I didn't have my laptop with me whilst I was reading in bed, so I was reading and I've had to go back and decode the Morse code this morning. But I think the Morse code's like a hint as you go through the book, and not necessarily like, it wasn't integral to the plot at the time, is all like kind of adding up. So I'm very intrigued by it. But yeah, so we have started today. Obviously we've got lots of pages to read today, so it could be an interesting day as to whether we're going to hit our pages or not. But I will check back in a bit later on to let you know how many pages I end up reading at work, because I do have work today, even though it's a Friday. For those of you that haven't been around that long, I don't normally work Fridays, but this Friday we are working. So I will check back in a little bit later on to let you know how much I read whilst at work. Good evening, guys. So it's currently 11:30. Obviously we're meant to read to 249 today. We are on 173, so I don't think we'll be reading our pages today. So I will say I asked for more pages and I failed, but I did also mention that today was probably my busiest day. I went out this evening and my evening kind of lasted longer than expected, which was absolutely fine. I had a lovely time, and you know, life gets in the way, and like actually reading challenges are all well and good, but they shouldn't come before life. And I was meant to be home a lot earlier than I was, but we just got carried away. So I'm gonna read a bit more, probably maybe in bed. I'm also just really tired, so I think I'll probably just actually curl up, put a YouTube video on, and yeah. But the next clip you'll see of me will be my final thoughts on the book. So I will go ahead and finish the book hopefully over the week, and then I can give you my final thoughts on like what I think about the book, whether I enjoyed it and all that sort of thing. But at the moment I am really enjoying it, and I'm gutted I didn't reach my pages today, because like I say, I am actually like really enjoying the book. I have just been so busy today, so I will check back in once I've finished the story for you. Okay guys, so as promised, I thought I'd come back with my final views on We Used to Live Here, and I finished this book this morning and I'm confused. I got this book recommendation from Belle, and she did say afterwards she watched a 2-hour-ish video deep diving into the story, deep diving into the book, because it is a bit confusing. I'm not sure what is true and what isn't, and actually I really like that kind of split decision ending. I don't know whether what I've read the whole time is the truth, or whether the fractured side of it's the truth, or who to believe and who each character really is, and are they being truthful to themselves, or is there more to the story? I don't know. I am very intrigued. I personally, if you've read this book, you'll understand kind of where I'm coming from. I personally believe the fractured truth and that side of it, just because I think it's more fun that way to think about everything else that's gone on and read through it like as in things aren't what they seem throughout the whole book, rather than the whole book being the truth and then the ending. People assume that. I don't know. I don't know whether timelines have been like interrupted and there's like a multiverse element into it. I'm not sure, but I ate this book up. I loved it. Obviously, to start with, throughout like the random pages, I couldn't read that fast, but I yesterday carried on from where I left off, which wasn't that far into it. Obviously, I was meant to get to 249 in the video and I didn't make it, but I didn't read any more from what I read on Friday, where I got to, until last night. And last night I read a little bit more, and then this morning I read for an hour this morning, and then I had about 80 pages left of the book, and I was just like meant to get up, get moving, and I was going to finish this book actually later today and film this clip either tonight or tomorrow. I wasn't in any rush for it, but I literally couldn't put it down. I was like, I need to know what happened. I need to understand where the characters are and what's going on, and things did get a bit creepy. What I will say is the blurb on the back, I'm not going to repeat what it is because I feel like I don't want to give any extra spoilers, but I feel like the blurb on the back gave away too much, which I know I've read it in this video. I'm also someone who will watch videos like this and get the vibes of a book and be like, I really want to pick that book up, but not necessarily remember exactly what the YouTuber has said and stuff like that. But I feel like the blurb on the back kind of had me preempting a few things, which I think a lot of the time thriller blurbs do this. They do it quite often where they give you too much information. I'm like, actually, I feel like just the first section of young couple Charlie and Eve can't believe the killer deal they got on an old house deep in the mountains. One day, a man knocks on the door. He says he lived there years before and asks if he can show his family around. I reckon that's all you needed on that blurb. And instead you've got another 2 paragraphs, and it's just, I feel like the 2 paragraphs, you're preempting it. Every time something happens, you're like, is it this time? Is it this thing happening? Is it this thing happening? And not that didn't take away from the story element at all, but I think a lot of the time with thrillers, you go in as blind as possible. And I definitely did, minus reading the blurb for this video. And so it kind of had me preempting a few things, but I really enjoyed it. I'm stuck between a 4 and a 5 star. I do think it's going to be a 4-star, and I feel like potentially that is my bad because of having to read the only certain amount of pages per day. I think if I could have sat down and binged this, it would be maybe a 5-star rating, but also I am confused by it in elements, and I think this might be a book that I will go back and reread and potentially give a 5-star, or if I continue to think about it, I might up it to a 5-star, but now it is falling in that 4-star camp. I did really enjoy it. I would highly recommend this book. It is very interesting. Throughout the book, you're left with, you kind of have like a chapter. So you have like a written chapter. Obviously I'm showing you the ones from the very start. You have a written chapter, which is the story. So that's what's happening. And then you have these kind of inserts, which are documents, and they're talking about, like, one of them's like the real estate agents things. You've got things from like Reddit posts or like online forums. You've got, I don't know, all different sorts of things. You've got Morse code written throughout it. There are so many things. Like Marcus has done a very good job at weaving all little details in and out, and you kind of are constantly trying to piece things together, and why has that been added in? And there's documents in here which I read and I was like, I don't understand the significance of this, but I'm sure if you reread it knowing what you know at the end, it would have a significance. So this is definitely a highly recommended book, and I feel like if you're in the thriller genre, it's something different. I highly recommend, really enjoyed it, and yeah, go and pick up this book. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm very sad we didn't actually successfully complete complete the video. I feel like 4 out of 5 days is actually really good, other than the fact that I wanted more pages throughout the video and I was complaining about not having enough pages, and then the one day we did have lots of pages I didn't even do. So not ideal, but I did really enjoy it. If this is something you want to see again, let me know. Like this video, comment down below any video suggestions you do want to see, or if there's any other way that we can generate random numbers. I've done a few others before, but I do actually really enjoy like asking people, or if there's another way to do it, then let me know. And subscribe if you want to see more of these types of videos, and I will speak to you guys next time. Goodbye.